Hi, welcome back to Harmonize Your Life Conversations on Self-Care for Women of Color podcast with your host, Dr. Tony G. Alvarado. I'm excited to have you in the podcast studio with us again as we close out the month of May and our conversations. The month of May has been dedicated to mental health. This is Mental Health Awareness Month. And so all of our conversations this month have been surrounding some aspect of mental health. We started out our month with Dr. Carolyn Love as she encouraged us concerning mental health and depression and what it means to get therapy and work our way through dark seasons in our lives. Then Dr. Alicia Lola Jones Skinner came to us and helped us understand the role of music in our mental health and self-care. Then we actually got a chance to talk with Nafisha Frost, and she talked to us about setting boundaries and as mothers, saving some for ourselves and not just giving it all out, and being intentional about self-care. And then Jada Wright came to us and helped us understand breath is life and the power of deep breathing and our self-care and our mental health. Today's conversation will be just as informative, just as inspiring, and just as intriguing. I'm excited about our podcast guests, and I know you'll enjoy this podcast conversation as well. We'll be right back right after this. All right. Okay, I'm excited today, super excited today because I got my girl in the studio with me today, y'all. Y'all know Lucy, if y'all follow me on any of my social media platforms, you've seen me with this woman right here. My girlfriend, Roslyn Bogle, is in the studio with us today. She is my ride or die girlfriend. I call her Lucy. She calls me Ethel. We've been riding together for 30 years. And y'all know it's always laughing and living color.
40 now.
Yeah. 33 years we've been riding together.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited that Roz Bogle is in the studio with me on today. Roz is a dear friend of mine, and we're going to be sharing about a subject that's very near and dear to her heart. She's going to be sharing some of her journey and her experience today as we talk about women and ADHD and women. And Roz is going to be sharing some of her journey and her story with us and enlightening us concerning ADHD and the different aspects and the way it shows up in our lives or can show up in our lives as this is Mental Health Month and as we close out the year. I love her because she is a dear friend, but she's also a trainer professionally. She is a professional trainer. She's a coach. She is an author. She is a speaker. She's just a dynamic woman all the way around, a mother of a wonderful son, Keith Emmanuel Alexander Bogle III. Did I get it right?
Girl, you better get it right. What? Even I have trouble with it. Look at you.
Yes, Trey. We call him Trey. And so she is the mother of Trey. She's a boy mom. She's a boy mom. But she is a sister beloved, a friend of many years. And I know you're going to enjoy our conversation as many people do whenever we get together. Hey, Roz.
Hello there. Hello there. Hello there. Hi, Tony. Let's just call this one of our many conversations, one of 3 conversations that we'll have today. You know, we talk at least 3 times a day. So
okay, yes, we do, because we're gonna talk at least 3 times This is our first conversation. We're gonna let y'all in on our first conversation today, because we will talk at least 3 times a day. You know, Roz, we had Judge Monica Hawkins in the studio. I mean, she came to and did the Women of Excellence scholarship event for women for My Sister's Keeper Foundation. And she talked about what it means to be a sister's keeper. And as she was talking about relationships between women and girlfriends and how we keep one another and how we can fall out with one another, but still pick one another up and, you know, do that ride or die. And the whole time she was talking, I was grinning from ear to ear because I was thinking about you. I was thinking about you, and not just you, but so many other women in my life. But mainly, I was thinking about our friendship and our relationship and the ups and downs and the good and the bad and all of it. But yet we still together. Yeah,
and going to be ashes to ashes, dust to dust.
Right to the wheels fall off, right?
That's right. I know that's right. It's us. That's great.
All right.
That's great.
So, Roz, we're talking today about women and ADHD. I thank you for coming in. Actually, I got the thought from you from our conversations about your journey and what you're dealing with even right now, as it relates to ADHD and all of what you've experienced with your mental health and how you're maintaining your mental health. We had you come on last year and you talked a little bit about us and enlightened us. But you've even gotten more enlightenment or understanding since last year.
Yes.
I mean, I've experienced just been walking with you this past year. I've seen the ups and the downs and the twists and the turns and your resolve, which I'm so proud of. Your resolve to get through it, and not just get through it, but to thrive through it and to reach back and get another girl and help somebody else.
Absolutely.
And that's when we know that you know, that's when we know that we got victory in a matter. When we have decided that it's not going to control us, we're going to control it. And when we decide that we're going to use it to help somebody else. That's when we know we've gotten
turning the test into the testimony. Absolutely. Yeah.
So talk to us. Absolutely. And share some of your story. Go ahead. We got a little delay.
I know we got
a little delay, but it's okay. Okay. Roz, share your story and why you're passionate about helping women get through or survive or thrive in the midst of ADHD.
Absolutely. First of all, thank you. Thank you. Yes, I said it 3 times. Because I was diagnosed because of one of our 3 daily conversations that we have. You said to me, as I was crying on the phone, I was weeping in a way that I don't think I had before. And I was kind of just and you said, Roslyn, have you thought about that you might have ADHD? And I was like, what? And you said, you present just like my son. And you talked to me a little bit about everything that you are. And a lot of it I knew because you would tell me when you were going through things with him and having to take him to whatever what was experiencing. So I knew it, but I just never, thought about it in my own context until that day you said to me, have you considered that you might have ADHD? She said, don't get mad. I was like, what? What do you mean get mad? What do you mean get mad?
But don't kill the messenger.
So kill the messenger. And I was like, hey, but honestly, it was just like when you said it, And we hung up the phone, and I immediately called my health insurance, got an appointment, and got for the following week, went in for my battery of tests, and had ADHD, inattentive type, at 45. I think I was 45, 46 or some years old. In my mind, I thought, this is a childhood disease. This is for children. But the reality is ADHD begins in childhood and it never leaves. As a matter of fact, it worsens as you get older because the brain is growing and the brain's taking in more experiences. So it gets older. So, well, that began my diagnosis and my journey to, and it has been, and it is a journey. I don't want anyone to think that once you get a diagnosis, you got medication, you're healed. No, it gives you an awareness of what's going on. And when I look back over, and as I look back over my life, particularly now that I am in monthly therapy, I'll talk about that in a minute, gives me the opportunity to say, that's what that was when I was 7, 8 years old. I would just daydream. And when I would get in trouble for not finishing something, or a teacher would say, Roslyn, stop talking. In a girl, ADHD presents as talkative. Not with boys, it's going to be hyper, doing something. But with girls, we're chat. We're called chatty Cathy's. And I would get in so much trouble. My teachers would always say, she's a good student, but she talked all the time. My dad, you better not do that. And then I get a whipping sometime, but it never stopped. It never stopped. And so it was just always, and it was not being able to finish things, or forgetful, very forgetful. But the most frustrating thing then and now, and I say now because I'm going to be very transparent. And that is the most challenging thing is knowing that you're intelligent enough to do something. I know that I'm intelligent. I know that I'm smart, but I have habitually had to deal with finished. I'll start something, I have huge brain energy, and then move on to something else. So it's those things. And so it's been very frustrating. I think even back, and I'm just using it's an example here, you might have to curtail me, but education. I went to, two of the finest schools in the state of Alabama. I wanted to pursue a higher education. I wanted my master's. I did not want a PhD. So we're good with that. But I did want my master's. But because I'm getting through college, my confidence was just, I said, I can't do that. I'm not going to finish that. And even I remember conversations, all of y'all got advanced degrees, and you look at in conversation, Roslyn, what you? And it was so much anxiety behind that for me, because I was like, I'm not going to be able to finish it. I'm not going to do well, not because of my intellect, but because I don't know. It's a lot of reading. I don't have that stick-to-itness. So my journey, those are just examples, but it has been frustrating. It has been a lot of negative self-talk because I felt undisciplined. I felt lack of motivation. And again, it has been stressful to the point of, I don't want to live with this anymore. And I know that seems so extreme, but people think ADHD is just, you can't focus. Oh, no. ADHD rarely travels alone. It travels with depression. It travels with anxiety. And what's called comorbid diseases, not diseases, but comorbidity, in the sense that it just has these other things. And
Mhm.
because we're women, we are often, if we go to the doctor and say something about it, like I went to, when you said that to me, I didn't go to
Mhm.
the doctor and say, I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm doing this. I said I need to be tested for ADHD. But had I
Wow.
gone to the doctor, like so many women, and say, I don't know what's wrong, I'm having these, I forget, or it's just all
Yeah.
this anxiety, the doctor, they prescribe medication for anxiety, they prescribe medication for depression. They won't even think about ADHD. And don't get me started on Black women in medicine.
Come on now. Let's talk about it, though.
They,
Talk about it.
they gonna tell us, oh, you all right, you
Mhm.
just need to do the stop eating this or do that. And they're not gonna deal with us the way that, because they say, oh, that's just all in your head. Um, and we're just, as a society, which I am so very grateful for, because I'm just such an advocate of mental health. I hate the way when people say, oh, you're just crazy. Well, historically, we have dismissed our culture
Mhm.
as, you don't understand the mental thing that's wrong with somebody. Oh, they're just crazy. They're just
Mhm.
crazy. That's so
Mhm.
unfair. And we've lost so much to just relegating people to, they're just crazy.
Mhm.
No. I always say that I know without a shadow of a doubt, had my dad known, had my grandmother known that there was an issue with me with that, and there was some way to take care of it, it would have been taken care of,
Yeah.
period. But we
And
didn't. I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, no, no. No, what I was going to say is that's why so many of our children go undiagnosed.
Yes, yes, yes.
And particularly children of color, low income homes or whatever, we go undiagnosed, and we learn to.
Yep.
I sit on the National Faith Council for a food allergy research organization, FAIR. And yesterday we
Mhm,
had a
mhm.
board meeting, and one of the things that was stated, Dr. Pastor Carla Stokes, who's a member of Newburgh, on the staff at Newburgh, on the
Mhm.
pastoral staff, she's on the council as well. And she said something that really is so true. She said, for most of us as Black people or people of color, we've learned how to just accommodate stuff that's wrong.
Coping.
Right. We cope with,
Coping.
we adjust to it. So we just
Yep.
say that's just the way I am, or that's just the way we are,
Yep.
or we was talking about food allergies, and she was saying how some things we're allergic. We never think to ask to be tested if we're allergic to it. We just say, oh no, that just don't sit well with me, or I'll eat that, but I'll just take
Right.
some. Oh, you know what I'm saying? To get through it,
Yeah.
we learn how to get
Yeah.
through stuff. We learn how to suffer through stuff. We learn how to bear through stuff. Just take it and accept it as the norm.
Exactly. Exactly. Coping mechanisms. Absolutely.
And it's
And
the
and
same thing with
that
our
makes
mental health. It's the same thing with
it
mental health.
is.
We just accept
It
it.
is.
Is this just the way it is? This is the way I am. My mama was like this. My daddy was like this. Or my grandmama was like that. Everybody in my family. So this just the way I am. It
It's
doesn't
just
have
what we
to
right.
always be that.
Right. And when we talk about stopping generational curses, this is one, because my father, when I look back, my father, y'all, had mental stuff going on. He did. But again, same thing. Just dismiss it because we don't know what to do with it. So we start, not only do we have coping mechanisms, but people in around us have coping mechanisms, how to deal with this person. When Roslyn coming over, she's just crazy, just don't pay her any attention. So everybody in the circle now has to have these coping mechanisms that are generationally dysfunctional. So from here to there, to the next generation, this stuff passes on, because me being, having my mental disorder, I said or I do something that affects this child or these people, well, they're going to take that on now to get carried on into adulthood based on something that I said when I needed, some therapy, some medication. So it's those kind of, it doesn't just affect the person. Absolutely. It does not. Mm-hmm. So that's why it's so important that we change the narrative. And you heard me say this before, and this is why I'm so glad that God has given me the wherewithal, even in my dysfunction. I think I said to you a few weeks ago, said it doesn't have to be like this. I may have to manage ADHD for the rest of my life. Okay. It does not have to control me. Mm. So my prayer has been, Lord, that you will take the strength out of ADHD, that you'll take the power that it has over me and others. Take that out. So the question becomes, how do we work with God to do that?
Okay.
Right.
So let's talk about it. How do we?
Okay. All right. So to be clear, ADHD is a neurodevelopment disorder. What it looks like is, as I said before, it can look like anxiety. It look like depression. It looks like what we say, oh, they're just scattered brain, forgetful. It has, and it's unique. So it may look one way to one person, but there are some very basic things that exist, but it may present differently,
Okay.
But nevertheless, how do we deal with it? If you think, like you said to me, now the immediate thing is get a diagnosis. Oh, get your information. The difference, Dr. Tony, is we have so much more information in this little thing we call a computer, this little thing in our, this little thing. We have so much more information. You don't have to, you can go on, read it. I have a book coming out. And it's going to, go into my own journey in detail, of course, but more about this being a journey together. As I go out, I'm taking somebody with me. As I get information, I'm sharing the information, presenting the information. So the ebook, which will be free, and if anyone that's listening, it's a work in progress, so it's not ready yet, because I want to make sure that you all get good information. But you can certainly reach out to Dr. Tony, and
and I'll share I'm gonna share where they can follow you on Instagram and Facebook and all that, because I know once it's done, you'll put it out there, and they'll be able to follow you and get that information. Yes. And they can reach out to me as well, because of course I'll have it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you will. And so in terms of what can we do? Again, get a diagnosis. Don't be in the dark about it. If you're feeling anything, get some information. Talk to people like me who's saying to you, this is what it looks like. Get some basic information. I am not a mental health professional, but what I am is an experienced person with this all my life. Knew what it was. I've only known about it, say, 10 years. But that doesn't mean that it was like, oh, I got a diagnosis. I'm great. No, because now I got to deal with those coping skills that I've developed for 40 years. Those things have kind of been ingrained. So now I'm having to restructure those and rewrite those. But the diagnosis is first. Understand that, as the title of my book is, you're not broken.
Oh.
You're not broken.
Oh,
there's nothing wrong.
Your book.
There's nothing wrong with you. You're not broken. You're different. I'm different. And different is okay. Just because you think something and you're not even abnormal. We're not taking that on. Now, you're perfect. I said you got to let go of perfectionism though, because my perfect looks different from Dr. Tony's perfect.
And none of us are perfect. And none of us are perfect.
Right. But we have, my point is, we have this model society does, you got to do it this way, or it's not the way. And if we can free ourselves from that, I have a friend who has ADHD, and she said, my house is just a mess. My house is a mess, and I feel like it's coming apart. I said, first of all, we're not going to be concerned about the house right now. I said, are rats and roaches taking you out of there? She said, no, it's just donkey. I said, well, then we're not going to worry about that. If you got pennies on the floor, fine, close your door. Focus on what's important. Right now, taking care of you and your mind is what's important. Once you do that, the house and all that those ancillary things, that will take care of itself. But focus right now on getting your mind together. That means going to the doctor, getting some medication. Oh, can I plug about medication? Again, we have to stop thinking all medication. I don't want to be on the medication. Honey, God is in the medication. He is. Because without that, and first, how do you think those doctors make it? And that just is so funny to me when we start saying, and I get it. There's some doctors that's all they want to do is give you a medication and then that medication. I get that. But I'm talking specifically about ADHD, Adderall, Ritalin, Vyvanse. I'm specifically talking about that. And just because you go to the doctor and they give you one, and you say, "Ooh, that did work." Okay, we're gonna try something else. We're gonna try the combination that works for you, because I go, my body changes every few years as I can get older. So what was working for me 3 years ago ain't working for me now. So I'm having to change. And don't even talk about it hitting menopause. Oh, bam, right in the kisser, honey. Right in the kisser. So you got those hormonal changes going on along with this. But even and I'm not saying that all is going to be fixed at once. It's a process. It is a journey. So it is a process. But I think once you get to that understanding of, okay, this is who I am. It doesn't have me. It doesn't own me, but it's just another piece of my life that I have to manage.
Wow.
I do that through,
I want you to stop for 1 second. I don't want you to move past that too quick, because you said something there. It doesn't have me. It doesn't own me. It's just another aspect of my life that I have to manage.
Yes.
Do you hear the power in that?
Yeah.
I hope you hear the empowerment in that. And I hope those that are listening to us are hearing the empowerment in that. That's what this whole podcast is about. It's about empowering women. It's about educating. It's about inspiring, motivating, or whatever spectrum of self-care looks like. Today we're talking about ADHD, mental health, all of that. But that just so empowering what you just said. It doesn't have me. It doesn't own me. It's just another aspect of my life that I have to manage. And here's the thing, Roslyn. You're managing it, but you're not managing it alone. And I think when you talked about going to get the diagnosis, right? I heard you talk about being in therapy once a month with your therapist, the medication, the conversations with your family and friends, the real conversations, not the we had those surface conversations, but real conversations beneath the surface of what I'm really thinking, what I'm really feeling, what I'm really going through. I had one of those conversations today earlier with my aunt around my grief. And I was like, I just need to talk this out, because, it's just coming up on the anniversary of Mom's passing. And I'm just like, and so It's so, you know, but that's the real talk that we have to have.
That's
Not
the
that
real,
surface
yes.
stuff.
Yes. And that leads to, like, and I was going to say this too, in terms of our strategies. Anyone managing ADHD, you gotta have that support circle. I am blessed beyond measure that I have 2 people that I know they're gonna listen. They're gonna say, okay, if there's something they can work through with me, otherwise they're just gonna be like, well, you know, I'm on the way. I'm gonna share this. I'm gonna go ahead and share this part. And I know how long we got? It's 30 minutes already. Anyway, stop me when I'm
We got a few more minutes.
A couple of months ago, I fell apart. Do y'all hear me? I fell apart. I just did.
I just want you to know you're crazy. Oh, no, not crazy. I'm sorry. I said the wrong word.
Well, not that kind of crazy. No, just play crazy.
I just want you to know you're hilarious. That's what I want you to know. Because your facial expression, girl, you got me over here laughing. Okay, I'm gonna let you tell it. I don't tell folks business. I let them tell their own business.
I know, but I'm gonna tell it. You know, girl, I don't care. I'm gonna tell it. I'm gonna tell it because
it's yours to tell. Particularly
if it's gonna help somebody.
Yeah.
Because sometimes when we think we're by ourselves, you know, the only ones going through stuff. But as I said to you earlier, this is a journey. So it doesn't mean me writing this book, me talking about it is not, oh, honey, I've overcome. I don't deal with that anymore. I am victorious. I'm victorious because I declare victory and I'm walking through it. And when I fall down, I literally get back up. But I don't get back up using my own strength. I say, I've always believed God ministers to us through people, right? So a couple of months ago, I honestly felt it completely apart right here in this floor. And my son, bless his sweetheart, he was just like, Mama, what's going on? What's going on? So he immediately picks up the phone and calls 2 people. That one, this one right here. You know, when y'all call Dr. Tony, my ride or die. My aunt, Bonnie Davis. And I'm okay. I'll be fine. I'll be okay. Don't y'all come over here. My house is a mess. I was saying stupid stuff, just stupid. And it was within an hour, and I think it was raining, and I was just like, but I don't want y'all out here driving in the rain, and Tony, who y'all already know, she don't care about driving.
I don't really like to drive, and I hate driving in the rain, but
there she was, knocking on the door to my, hello?
I didn't even knock on the door. I called Trey. I said, don't even say to Mama I'm coming. I'll be there in a few minutes. Unlock the front door so I can walk in. I ain't had to knock. I walked right on. And by the way, I need a key. Thank you. That just reminds me.
Yes, I need a key.
I need a key.
Yes, ma'am, you do. You do. I'll make sure that happens.
I need a key.
Yes, and so, but that to me, while I did not want to inconvenience, that's what it was. Because also there comes this pride thing, you know, let's just be honest, that you don't want to feel like you're a burden to anybody, or especially me. Let me just talk about me. I feel like I always have to present or be on, and that's a stressful point within itself. But I don't have to be like that with Tony Alvarado. I don't have to be like that with Bonnie Davis. I don't have to be, and a lot of my friends, don't get me wrong, but these 2 particularly that I know, and you got to have that when you're managing this type of mental disorder, that one day you're here and one day you might be here. And sometimes you don't know what the trigger is going to be. But nevertheless, having someone where you can just tell with and not be judged. Yeah. One of the most important things about Dr. Tony and our relationship, while we talk about 33 years being together, what has kept us together, one of the things that has kept us together is that we don't judge each other. Yeah. We don't judge each other. We don't cast our thoughts. Well, you should be doing this, or you should be doing no.
Yeah.
Is, well, have you considered? Because the Bible says, in loving kindness have I drawn thee.
Mm-hmm.
So it's so important that if someone's dealing with any type of disorder, now let's just be clear, schizophrenia, there are some things that are going to be out of the bandwidth of your family. Don't get mad if they can't help you with that. But on something like this, when you got to have a support system, that support system has to be encouraging. If by at any point that support system is like, well, girl, you just need to get over that. That's not your support system, honey. That's not who that is. Because this ain't something you just get over. You wouldn't tell me just to get over cancer, would you? No, you. Okay, well, did you go to the doctor? What did you do? You know, what do we need to do? That's what you would say. So those are the kind of people you have to have that will speak life into your brain, because I'm talking about me. I am already against myself. So what I don't need is anybody that is compounding that.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
So that when we talk about tips and strategies, that needs to be number one, because those people will hold you accountable. Say, all right, how's the day going? What needs to happen today? How's your day planned out? Those kind of things. So that's one of the top strategies in terms of really getting. And I am grateful that I have.
And I think also with that support system is knowing when to draw in close and when to step back and let that person process where they are, and be what, you know, I'm not your therapist. I'm your girlfriend. Right. So I'm not trying to be your therapist. I'm not your medical doctor. I'm not diagnosing you. I asked you, had you considered it based on my own experience with Joshua, with our son? Many people know that our son, we have a son who has mental illness, our middle son, Joshua. And we, as a family, we've been open about it. He's open about it. He's managing his life at the point that he can manage it, you know, at 24, you know, at 24 years old, but still with the support of family and friends. But because of my experience, I was able to just kind of ask you to consider, or had you considered it. But I didn't try to step in the role of your medical doctor or your therapist or whatever. And then even as your pastor, even though we have a dual relationship, because I'm your pastor, but I'm also your friend. And so I even have to know when to speak to you as your pastor and when to speak to you as your girlfriend. And,
right.
And same here. You have to do the same thing with me. Know when to speak to me as my girlfriend or as a parishioner, a concerned parishioner.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so yeah, it's just knowing and having that support system is so important. And I think that's why these conversations and things like this podcast is important. Things like the book that you're writing is important, because people need places where they can go and hear this kind of truth and process it, and then try. So what do you say, Roslyn, to the person that may be listening to this that's not as fortunate as you in terms of support system? There are a lot of people who find themselves, especially in this pandemic, isolated. And I also want to say the pandemic has caused most people that have struggled with mental illness, it's been heightened because of the pandemic. So it's no accident that you have found that your ADHD has been on just like 100 in this last year. Trust me, the pandemic has had something to do with that.
Absolutely. And we have not seen, as a matter of fact, I think we are seeing it in terms of the fallout and the repercussions. Suicides every 10 minutes a day somewhere.
It's on the rise.
But,
and you know what? And it's on the rise in our community, which is not.
It is.
Yeah, it's on the rise with Black women.
It is. It is. And the women that we all go, what? She had so much going on. She had so much to live for. But let me put a pin right here about suicide, if I may.
Mm-hmm.
It's personal. It is not selfish. It is not, I can't believe they did this. The pain that somebody has to be going through, the pain that seems so, life seems so hopeless. It's not about them doing this to anyone else. Anyone else. If they could have done something differently in that moment, they would have. So please understand that about when somebody thinks or commits the act of suicide.
Mm-hmm.
It's not what you think it is. It's very, I mean, when I say you, I mean, it's a very personal, hard. It's hard. It's harder for them than it'll ever be for you, than it'll ever be for the person that's judging them. But my point is, we're seeing, because of COVID and the lockdown and everything, we are seeing more of it, and we will see more of it unless we are able to have these type of outlets and these type of conversations, and unless we pay attention to the people that are in your circle. Don't just give them, oh, how you doing today? Yeah, okay, fine. And sometimes we say that and we really don't want that. And we just like, you know, it's one of those pleasantries. But when the Lord has somebody run across your mind, you know, your strong friend, if they just run across your mind, text them. Hey, what's going on with you over there today? Talk to me. And listen. I know that, and you were saying, Dr. Tony, earlier, a few minutes ago, that you got to know when to pull in and when to pull back. Sometimes, I think, you know, Tony does that very well with me, but we're 33 years in the game. She knows me. I know her, you know. We know those little things, you know. But if you don't know whether or not to push, you're like, oh, maybe I shouldn't say that. It's better for them to be mad at you or frustrated with you asking that all the time than to be not here or any other detrimental thing. Take your shot. Take a shot. Pray. If you don't feel right, for those of us who are Christians, we got a Holy Ghost. Lord, what am I sensing right here? Tony knows to pull something, because I tend to go with, when I'm in a space, I tend to go within to process, because I can't hear a lot of different noises, you know. Can't hear a lot of different noises. So if somebody's asking me, well, what are you going to do? How are you going to do it? I know how I have the voice to be able to say, give me a minute. I'm just processing it, and I can't have a whole lot of different voices going on in my head. So, but in my end, we know how to do that with each other, right?
Yeah.
Again, you're in a space where you're saying, I don't really know how to do, I don't know if I should, I don't want to offend her. Offend is okay.
Yeah.
That offense,
they'll get over it.
That's okay.
They'll get over
it. They'll get over it.
Yeah. Take your chances. And that's true. I have to love you enough to risk you being upset, mad at me.
Yeah. And you said that, and you be like, hey, I'm gonna put it out there. You might be, but my point now is, I know that you're coming to me at whatever point you're coming to me in love. So part of my mind, I gotta, you know, because that's part of it too. I want to get defensive about everything. That's part of all this. That's part of all that. So watch your triggers, because everybody ain't out against you. You know, watch your triggers.
Wow.
I'm gonna wrap it up again, but another strategy: manage your time. Don't overcommit. Let no be no. No is a complete sentence. If you can't do something, you start getting, oh God, it's just too much going on. Pull back. I love you, but I'm not gonna be able to make it. I'm not gonna be able to do that. That's fine. Exercise. Woo, woo, woo. Y'all know Dr. Tony is the exercise guru.
And so are you now. Exercise is really helping you with your ADHD.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. And for how many years were you like, come on, Roslyn, when you go exercise, girl, but I have to go eat a hamburger, French fries. What? Oh, but now it's a part of me. I will admit I'm not as, I don't go as hard as she does, but she has been a good model in this for me. And yes, it makes a huge difference because guess what? First thing in the morning, I work out at 6:30. My dopamines are on and popping. I'm nice to people, right? I'm nice. And eat well. Eat as well as you can. I know if you're anything like me, you probably like, because we grew up, if you grew up in the South or wherever, you can go up in Chicago. Chicago got good food. But you got to learn how to pull back on sugar. Sugar is one of the enemies of a person with ADHD.
Okay.
So, so eat well. Again, there are strategies online. My book is coming out. I'm going to give you some more strategies. Just talk about anybody. And my biggest thing is if you think you have ADHD, or if you see these symptoms and you just can't quite get a grip on what's going on, you have to go to your provider and say, I need to be tested for ADHD.
Wow. Those were good nuggets. I heard have a good support. First of all, I heard get a diagnosis. I heard have a good support system. I heard know your triggers. I heard you said something about setting boundaries, saying no, not overextending yourself with your time, saying no, setting those boundaries. I heard exercise and eat well. And did I hear you say something about rest or something? Something like that.
I didn't, but that is key. I should have said that because the ADHD brain has to sleep, has to rest.
Okay.
Because it's moving at a rate that I won't say the normal brain, but a different brain maybe moving at let's just say 50 miles per hour. That ADHD brain is 100.
Okay, so
rest. It has to rest.
It has to rest.
It has to go to sleep. That's very, very important.
And I've seen you, absolutely, and I've really watched you over this last year, Roslyn, and put all those pieces in place. I've seen you, even with me. Even in our friendship, there have been times where you've called me and said, "Hey, I'm not going to be able to do that. I need to rest. I need to." We laugh about you driving and all that stuff, but lately you've been saying, "Hey, I can't do all this driving no more. I can do a little bit, but I can't do it all." And so it's all a part of you taking care of yourself. And those of us in your world that love you have to hear that and understand that. And so I'm getting better. I'm driving more.
Yes. Got 2 whole hours last time.
I drove 2 hours last time and gave you a break.
Woo. And don't forget, I know you went to Greenwood by
you, and I want you to be healthy and well. And listen, y'all, this conversation, these are the kind of conversations Roslyn and I have behind the scene. We talk like this all the time, of just real deep conversations with each other. And I wanted her to come in to the podcast studio. Plus, I know that this is Mental Health Awareness Month, and this aspect of mental health, we don't talk about as much. We don't talk about ADHD when it comes to adults, or particularly as relates to women. And I know her journey in this, and I know that she has something that she can share with us. I want to just give disclaimer, neither she or I are a therapist or mental health psychiatrist or any of that, medical doctors prescribing medication, any of that. That's not what we're just sharing our experiences in life with self-care and her real life experience with ADHD. I know your book is going to be a blessing, Roslyn. What's the title of your book? You're Not Broken.
You're not broken. You're not broken.
You are not broken.
And my mission statement is helping women thrive and embrace ADHD women like me.
Wow.
And that is the premise of what I move on from the rest of my life. I believe that. I believe God has given me this test to be a testimony, and knowing that there's no, there's no like, oh, we're going to get to a final destination with ADHD. We're just going to go on a journey together. We're just going to go on a journey together.
And we're going to have some things we just got to learn to live with. Some things we have to everything we're not going to get a cure for. Everything we're not going to get a cure. It reminds me of the scripture when Paul said he prayed 3 times for the thorn. We don't know what that thorn in Paul's flesh was. He doesn't even say what it was. We don't know if it was physical, if it was something spiritual. Some people say Paul had an eye condition or his eyesight was bad, and maybe that was it. I don't know. But he said he prayed 3 times for God to remove it. And God's answer to him was not yes to remove it. His answer was, my grace is sufficient. And there are some things that God don't remove from our lives, but he give us grace to endure it, to thrive in it, and turn around like Peter. When you are converted, strengthen your brothers. So I'm so proud of you for taking the power out of ADHD, not letting it control you. You're controlling it by diagnosis, with the medication, with your therapy, with your support system, with setting healthy boundaries in your life, controlling your time, by eating, exercising, eating healthy, and resting. You just gave us a formula right there. And I know all of that's going to be in your book. And I can't wait to see how God's going to use you and this book. I declare right now in the name of Jesus, this book is going to retire you, girl. You're going to be able to retire from this book. I believe it's going to be a bestseller. It's not going to be able to stay on the shelf. You're going to get speaking engagements behind this book. It's the thing that you've been saying, God, I need to be free from this job and all the stuff that's holding me back. The key to that is hallelujah on in your life through this ADHD and through this book. I'm telling you, God's gonna use this thing, Roslyn. If I be a woman of God, God is gonna catapult you from this place into another level of greatness and empowering women through your own journey. And I'm so godly excited and proud of you.
Thank you. I received that in Jesus' name. And I thank God for you. I thank God for you. I know I'm a little biased because I love you so much, but I thank you, God, for giving you this whole vision of self-care, and knowing that self-care is from the rooter to the tutor. It's not just one part of us, but it's the mental, all the way, our total being as women. So I'm so glad that you have taken the same thing, God, because this started off with you wanting to make a change in your own life. What, 10 years ago?
I remember 23. When I turned 37, I just turned 59.
When you said 37, and I remember when you said, I'm getting a membership at the YMCA because I got to do something different. I remember when you said that, and I was like, girl, go ahead. Go ahead. And look what that decision has morphed into, and how many women has been changed for the better because you made a decision for you 20 plus years ago. So I applaud you, and I thank you for being concerned about all of us. God bless you.
Thank you. I love you so much, Rumi. I love you. All right. All right, y'all. We're going to start crying in a minute. So I'm going to wrap this up. We've done well. John,
you want to go get some calamari?
Don't go over an hour. People don't want to listen to no podcast that's over an hour. So we got to close it out right now. So listen, thank you all for journeying with us. This is season 7 of the Harmonize.
Let's go get some calamari.
Huh? Yeah, let's go do that. Okay. I'll call you as soon as we get off here for our second conversation today. All right. All right, listen, y'all. Listen, this is season 7 of the Harmonize Your Life podcast, starting with the month of May. This is our last episode for the month of May. Stay with us all the way through the month of June. We're going to be talking about women, self-care for women of a certain age. I just turned 59 this month, and I got some women that's coming in the podcast studio that's in their 60s, in their 70s. Ooh. Listen, they're going to help us understand how to take care of ourselves as we age, how to age and look good and feel good inside and out. And so stay with us through the month of June, then through the month of July. We'll close out our season 7, and we'll see what the Lord says for us for season 8. All right, stay with us. We're excited to have you as a part of our community. If you're not a part of the Harmonize Your Life Women's Self-Care Network, I want you ladies to join us in the network. We got a fitness challenge that we're just about finishing up, but we do them periodically throughout the year. You can come into Tea Time with Dr. Tony. We have these kind of conversations with other women in Tea Time with Dr. Tony, but you got to be a member of the Self-Care Network to be invited into that space. All right. Listen, go to my website, sign up there on my website at drtonyalvarado.com. If you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, listen, subscribe to the YouTube channel. It will be a blessing in your life, but it will also be a blessing to the podcast when you subscribe, when you share these episodes with other women and other people in your life. It helps for this kind of content to come up in the analytics in the Google search engine. So when people are looking for information on self-care, health, wellness, Black women, women of color, when they're looking for stuff on mental health, financial health, all that kind of stuff, guess what? The Harmonize Your Life podcast will come up in those search engines. And you do us a huge blessing by subscribing to the YouTube channel just by clicking a button. It doesn't cost you anything. Go there, subscribe, and tell others about it. Listen, Roslyn Bogle is our guest today. We've been talking about Go Get Yourself, Women and ADHD. Roslyn Bogle, you can follow her on Facebook at Ros Bogle or on Instagram at Ros Bogle Training on Instagram. And Ros, you're on TikTok too, right?
Yeah,
you're on TikTok, right?
TikTok,
is it still the same handle at Ros Bogle Training?
It is.
Okay,
it is.
So follow her on Instagram and on TikTok at Ros Bogle Training. I want you to go there. I want you to be listening out for her book that's coming up. You Are Not Broke. And listen, that's not just with ADHD. You need to get that book, whether you're dealing with ADHD or not, because all of us have something in our lives that will make us feel like we are broke, that something is wrong with us, or we can't be or do who God has called us to be, or do what God has called us to do. I believe this book is going to empower you and bless you to do and be who God has called you to be. Listen, thank you again, Roslyn Bogle, for coming in. Thank you, Lucy, my Lucy. Thank you for being a part of my self-care journey and helping me to stay whole. I love you.
I love you more.
All right, we'll see you all next week. Hi, this is Dr. Tony Alvarado, and I want to personally invite you to join the Harmonize Your Life Women's Self-Care Network. Join us for fitness motivation, health and wellness information, inspiration, self-care strategies, and ideas for creating harmony in your life. As a certified health and wellness coach, it is one of my greatest honors to support women in their fitness, health, wellness, and self-care goals. Join the Harmonize Your Life Women's Self-Care Network, and we will do you good on your journey.